Hey everybody, Steve here, and I finally finished the Dash install. Actually, I haven't finished it. There's still a number of modifications that I want to make it better, but I've got enough of a prototype here to at least kick out a video. Maybe get some feedback from people on how I can make it better. But essentially what I've got is an Android tablet, and it's tapped into a Bluetooth OBD2 over here, and I'm running a program called DashCommand. This is a Android, incidentally, and with the Android, basically, I can get maps, I can play my music from it, I can surf the internet with it, basically anything that you could do with the tablet. But the thing that I like the most is this is a program called DashCommand, and I did a very detailed video with my friend Luke. I'll link to that video about DashCommand, and basically we went ad nauseum and all the things that you could do with DashCommand, but I'll touch on him here. Luke is the one who inspired me to do this video, and he's the one who's actually really good at this stuff. But basically I've got live OBD2 information that is being fed to it right here. And essentially the amount of data that we can get out of this thing is pretty astounding. I've got coolant, but I can switch that, change it to torque, back to coolant, power, intake, timing, acceleration, and you can see that all this is getting fed with live data. But it goes much further than that. Fuel information. I've got about 5 miles with this thing, so it doesn't really have a whole lot of fuel data right now. But the amount of fuel data that one can ascertain from this thing from a fuel economy standpoint is pretty staggering. The next one, these are more fuel stats. Fuel economy, CO2 emissions, elapsed time. I mean, just tons and tons and tons of information as it pertains to fuel since the last fill up, stuff like that. Why are we so blurry? And actually that's only page 1. There's page 2. I could basically add a whole bunch of parameters that I want to there. So next one is, this is my favorite tab right here, which is a bunch of engine parameters. All right, so coolant can be swapped to load. Intake, temp can be swapped with, well, I don't it's only going to give you the PIDs that your car kicks out, so mine obviously isn't kicking out ambient. Catalyst, intake, O2 sensor, lambda, which it's not feeding because I don't have a wideband O2 sensor, air fuel, there's the O2 sensor, and mass airflow and fuel pressure. Oh, it's actually not reporting fuel pressure. That's kind of a bummer. But anyhow, so back to mass airflow. So that's just one more tab. I mean, basically it's just tons and tons and tons of information. It will do logging for you. There's a performance tab. Here's some track stuff. Obviously we wouldn't want to do this on public highways, but track features such as ET numbers, quarter mile time, 1,000 feet time, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. A whole bunch of information here. You can pick and choose what gauges you want to display, and there's lots and lots and lots of them. So I could basically just have this sitting down there if I want to just basically the gauges, like so. Here's a data grid. Now what I did was I paid $10 for DashCommand, and I also paid an additional $10 to get additional PIDs. So these are the ones that I've selected. So coming back here, OBD2 codes. I'll go ahead and read my codes. Readiness monitors, engine codes. One stored code, I'm sure it's a P300. There it is, P300. Something I need to look into. Read codes at any particular time. You can clear codes at any time. This skid pad will show you G-force information. I guess this is for the off-road crew that go rock climbing with their Jeeps and stuff like that. Inclinometer. It's got a racetrack feature, so in the event that we were sitting at a racetrack, I guess the racetrack information will pop up and provide various and sundry information. I'm not sure exactly what that does, but set the accelerometer. log files. It will record and log files. And then there's the settings. It's got a pretty deep menu in terms of what the settings are. So anyhow, so this is just one of, a bunch of different apps that one could have for this thing. I mean, go back here, we can get another car one. This one's called Torque. You can basically go into Torque and you can say, add a display. Let's do a dial. Let's do engine coolant temperature. And let's make it medium. So there's that. I'm sure there's a way to get in the menu to be able to, pull these to where you want them. But back to DashCommand, which is the one that I installed this whole thing for. Straight to the dashboard and get some information. Obviously, I'm not driving. Although it's not the prettiest thing in the world, I was able to fab this piece from the stock piece that was here. I originally had a couple of drawers there. I think I originally had like a cassette player and then a drawer there, and took those out and basically just created this. This is a work in progress. I've got another one at home from the junkyard that I'm going to continually make modifications to, trying to make it better. But I tried to paint it to make it look like this color right here, and then I just went with black to try to offset it a little bit. Now what this is it's held in by a magnet, and essentially if I pull it like this, if I want it, it's got one wire, just the same wire that you would have on any tablet, and it's a Nexus tablet, and that's how ugly it is in the back. But basically, if I was gonna park at an airport or something like that and I didn't want to leave the Nexus in the car, obviously I've got very, very quick retrieval. This is a Nexus 7, and the reason why I went with the Nexus 7 is because of some power abilities that have been added by changing the kernel. I'll leave links to where you can find the information about getting in and changing the kernel. Essentially, obviously, this is a tablet. If I were to turn the car off, the tablet would stay on and the battery would run out. But because of the changed kernel, this has a power management system that will allow me to basically turn the car off and leave the car, and basically it goes into a suspension mode, and it's still on, but it's drawing such a small amount of current that essentially, from what Luke tells me, you could leave the car parked for a week or whatever and then go to fire it back up and it'll still be fine. Probably wouldn't want to leave it any longer than that, but check it out. I don't have to get access to any of the buttons on the side of the tablet. Right now, as far as the USB is concerned, it's tied into my primary stereo, so it had to wait for my primary stereo to fire up before it fired up, but there it is. And it's got to reestablish a link with the OBD2, which really doesn't take that much time, and boom, I'm back in business. So pretty awesome. I love the power management feature of the change kernel. I love being able to get all this additional OBD2 data. I do have a full video on how I made this piece. It was my first attempt ever at doing any kind of dashboard fabrication, and it's not perfect, but it's good enough for now. So if you like what you see, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, and if you want instant notifications for new videos when they come out, hit the bell additionally. If you're interested in more information, perhaps you've got a factory stereo and you want to just go ahead and use a tablet to replace the factory stereo and get all of this OBD2 information, I'll link to the video that I did with Luke. Of course, Luke's build is a lot more detailed because of all of the additional things that he needed to make his stereo work. He's got steering wheel controls, so there's a good bit more to it, but I'll link to that video. So anyhow, I'm Steve. I'm going to sign off. Please like, comment, subscribe. Lots more videos to come, so go ahead and hit that bell so that you get instant notifications when the new videos come out. More mods to come, including the long-awaited turbo for this thing. And don't forget to check out the companion video where I built this piece right here. I was a first-timer, It's far from perfect, and this is the first time I've ever done it, but the position that I have on my channel is that if I can do it, anybody can do it, and if there's anything that I can do to share my lessons learned along the way to make a build for you easier, then that is what I consider a successful video. All right, I'm Steve signing off. Hope you liked it. I will see you in the next video.